Well, one thing, Joseph is going to get cold. He's crazy. But Wayne, he's 8 and she started when she was 3. She is a scared and and so she was, so the last time we went, she was funny.
Judge, how are you?
She was 15 and she was already 6 foot tall. And her speed.
Got all the family.
And she'd come down and ski and it would snow on me. And I'm like,
Now, when did she graduate here?
oh, 4.
Rick always talks about it.
Oh.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, Rick likes
She was
to.
just massive underneath.
He likes to give her a hard time. She had been mean as she is now.
That's what he said, she was mean.
Junkyard dog.
Well, Krista Condren helped her there, but she wasn't mean. She was nice
Where we
to
are,
see.
we're financial turmoil, college thing. Yeah, we're gonna be living like some It's crazy.
It was good.
When you talk about that one back there.
Grandbabies. Raised really good. Grandbabies. Should have had them first, got the others. When kids tell me this, like, you like them very nice and stuff. I do. That's the truth. You like the grandbabies more than you do your kids?
I hear them back.
She was in there on the phone when I was there for a while, and I said,
Okay, good morning. Call the meeting to order, Young County Commissioners Court sitting in a call meeting. It's Monday, November the 4th, 2019. It's 9:30 a.m. on the money. It pleases the court to forego all of our introduction and customary things, get right into the agenda. Any problem there? Okay, item number 3, then, I'd like to make note that this meeting is posted for the manner and for the time requiring that all members of the court are present for the record. Item number 3, public comments, announcements, and presentations. These are no action items. I don't have any. Does any of the court members have anything they'd like to announce to the court or bring the court's attention to?
Proud of those Lady Blues.
I was gonna say the same thing,
Yeah.
proud of the Lady Blues.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
They're really good. Tuesday at Holly at 7? Is it right?
I don't know if it's,
I heard it's earlier, I
Like 5:30.
don't know for sure.
Oh,
Big
yeah,
Springs, is that right?
Yep.
Alan West will be speaking tonight at the Barclay Arena, the arena. I think there's a few tickets left, if somebody might want to chase down Kyle Milam.
Or Stacy Rogers.
I
Stacy
think
got it.
I have one.
Do you have one?
Sheriff Babcock.
One of them was not me.
Stacy's got
Michael
one.
Stacy, he gets the prize.
Also, World Series, I don't know if that's a record, but no home team defended its home field.
That's
All the
crazy.
games were won
On the road.
That was a record. That's crazy.
Goes to show you.
So, I guess congratulations to the Nationals. It's about the only time I wish to with Houston, but I would like to sing the Astros win.
Well, I'll say congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens for beating the undefeated New England Patriots. I just
Just had to say that.
Okay.
There's still one undefeated left, aren't there?
Yes.
49ers.
Maybe not.
Okay, item number 4 will be consider county clerk minutes of previous meeting, October 28, 2019. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Item 7, is that would be 5-0, 4-0? I was here, that's the only thing I said. So much.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Wiley. Second by Commissioner Pruitt. To approve county clerk's minutes as presented. Is that correct, as presented?
That's correct. With the one correction on number 7, correct?
Well, I think that time, Commissioner Wiley said about.
I couldn't have been if I made the motion.
Okay. Yes, corrections. Are all in favor? Item number 5 is consider treasurer's financial report, updates on securities. We don't have that. No action taken. Item number 6, consider auditor's budget amendments and balance replacement.
Always have
You always
vouchers.
have those.
Always have vouchers.
Let's talk about FY19 first. The total is $1,031.68. And out of the general, it's $744.48. So it's pulling down pretty good there. I guess like I said, we'll be paying for this month and for the, do you want to go and do the 20s? Okay.
Take that one home.
Huh? Get that. What are we missing?
Yep, we can do it one more.
Okay, and so on the FY20 bills, the total is $19,277.93, and out of the general fund is $17,320.05.
So moved, on both 19 and 20.
Motion for Wiley. Second by Rogers. To approve vouchers payable for 19, FY19 and FY20 respectively. All in favor? Do you have anything else there? Let's see, discuss, consider cost overrun on grant. This case,
Mrs. Kay?
yeah. Get up there and talk about this one. Yes, ma'am.
Last year during the, last year during the budget, I came through and I'm doing a counter with the wheelchair accessible. Well, they forgot about the little ledge over there on the wheelchair. And so when they estimated, they didn't put it in, so the bid came in lower. And so the bid came in at $4,290, but it's now $5,485. So I'm just asking permission for them to go ahead and put the granite on. It'll be coming out of my records management, just to be able to have the granite on.
That, did you tell me that was in part because the, I guess the subcontractor could not?
Well, they had two different ones, and one is not gonna be able to, and the bid that he put in was the 4,290, and now I've got a different one. And he put in a bid first, but then he forgot about the ledge, and so he came back, and so the final bid is 5,485.
This is our recommendation.
Out of nine.
Additional $1,200.
So moved.
I'll second that.
But it's coming in on Friday.
Okay. How's the work? Good?
Well, they haven't started.
Started yet?
That's when they come in on Friday. It's supposed to be on one day, and then the grader will be here on
You got it all nice and clean down there, nothing in there.
Spring clean in the winter.
Okay, this, motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Pruitt, to approve the additional $1,200 necessary for completion of county clerk's cabinet project. All in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, item number 7 is discuss and consider Young County Appraisal District Board of Directors for 2020-21 fiscal year. We have the duty to nominate us as a eligible member to nominate. There's some taxing entities that aren't eligible. There's 5 members of the court. We're eligible to elect an appointment for like a nominee for each one of the places. I think historically we just, I say historically for the last several years, we just entered one nominee. As of Wednesday of last week, the only nominee that had been presented was Darby Rockway, the city, I believe, grant that did that. So I don't know today, but they were actually due on 30th of October, and I did get notice of it on the 10th, but I failed to get it on the 10th, so I'll call Luke, he'll gladly accept nominees today, if there be any.
I say we just keep Mike over there like he is.
Like I said.
I don't know, he did tell me he doesn't have confirmed any of the other directors that had.
One director so far?
Yeah, that had, gave any indication of what they were willing to serve again or not, except Darby. Okay. And you are willing.
I am willing to
Set
say
him on the top 5.
Willing and able.
I think
Continue to rock the boat.
election will be held 15th of December, I believe. And we'll have to have our votes in. We're eligible for 1,578 votes. It does take 1,000 votes to guarantee anybody on there. No matter how many nominees are on there, the top 5 vote getters, which might not necessarily be 1,000, but if we want to guarantee, I think the school district and the county are the only 2 that have quantity enough votes to guarantee a nominee's selection. Motion by Wiley, second by Rogers, to nominate Mike Sipes, Commissioner Mike Sipes. Should that be our only nomination? All in favor? Carried 5-0. We'll get that, there's a resolution here. Thank you. email. Item number 8 is to reconsider this interlocal contract for supply of water to TxDOT. We've got Zach Houston here with our resident engineer, or used to be called that anyway. You'll come up, Zach, and give us a little talk about this. I've thought about that. I think we'll pull the trigger on that a little bit quick. I don't believe interlocal is proper instrument. I don't believe that TxDOT is the proper party to the contract.
I think that's Lloyd.
Excuse me.
So that'd be Lloyd, right?
Well, I mean, I don't guess there's been one drawn up yet, or there hasn't been anything executed yet, as far as I know.
It doesn't avoid, so. Got to reconsider.
We would void our minute order in there.
What do you want from us, Zach?
Really, and I was talking to Jim Wiley about it, and we really got to stay out of it if we could, and there just be the contractor will contract with whoever they're getting water from, whether that's you guys or an individual, or, that's the way it typically works. We don't usually get involved or with an agreement or any kind of separate contract to supply water or any other thing.
Well, the contract's been left to A.J. Helm Council,
Yes, sir.
$13.3 million. So Helm Council is responsible for all of the necessary supplies or apparatuses that might be necessary to complete the job, including water.
That's correct.
So that's a private company, so it would be contractual to make sure that we did that. Now, there's a water supplier here on 1769. Scott Hayes, I think, supplied the water at 35 cents a barrel for the water used on that project. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. He did have an agreement with, there was a different contractor. Yes, and they had to do some work, I think, on Scott's place. He had to rig his well and put a pad out there where they could get water from him. I think he was able to do that because they were paying for water.
So that was another thing that didn't get discussed last week was the element of a valuable consideration. And that in the mindset, I guess, that was presented here, that we would supply water at no valuable consideration. So we really can't do that as a government entity. We've got to get some kind of valuable consideration back for a contractor in locally one, whether it be a service or a trade of some kind or payment of money. And it doesn't necessarily equal, it's not necessarily a factor there, but a valuable consideration, whether it's equal to, greater than, or equal to less than. Do you have any recommendations here?
Well, I'll tell you about my experience on this kind of thing, and this is what I was telling Jim about earlier. But, a little over, I guess it's 12 years ago, we were building that big bypass around Seymour.
Yeah.
There were 10 bridges on that job, huge dirt job. And the contractor came in, and originally they made an agreement with the city to purchase water from them. And the local farmers were upset about that agreement because they didn't have the opportunity to make any money off of the deal. So the city got out of it. The contractor contracted with an individual farmer out there to get water from his well, and they were in a drought at the time, and as soon as they were drawing water off that well, and pretty soon surrounding farmers' wells were running dry because they were pulling so much water out of it. Then the local, or the National Resource Water Board got involved, and, oh no, that's right, that's we metered our water, and we took a lot of blame for it. You know, it was our project, it was a TxDOT project, but, you know, we tried to stay out of it on basically what I was explaining earlier. We'd like for there to be a transaction between the contractor and somebody local, but, I mean, sometimes we have to get involved if it affects others.
Is there?
I think it depends on how much water we're talking about too. You know, if it's just, water for their paving crew, I don't think that's very much. If it's, water for their dirt crew, that's a bunch of water.
Well, currently, right now, they're, widening or adding shoulders to the road.
They're doing a level up on the shoulder.
They're up on the shoulders and then an extension of some of the structures.
Mhm.
And, I don't know, does TxDOT have any equipment out there? I mean, are they using any equipment? Any water servicing equipment or anything like that?
We are not using any water. All we have out there are inspectors.
I talked to Dave Brooks before we ever talked about this situation and asked for his counsel on what needs to be done and how it should be configured. He said, because you're a government entity, he said, yes, it is contracting out there, but the work that's being done is done on a state highway. The proper way of handling it would be, is to have an interlocal agreement between the county and TxDOT, would be the proper way to do it. Call back the second time after court and make sure what I heard was correct. And he said, yes, it is correct, and he's supposed to be sending me a copy and wording on email of what he said. My deal is on this, John, is I'm not selling them everything for all the dirt work. I understand that. If anybody else wants the dirt work part, that's fine. All I was doing was setting them out on the product where they put in their packers. And because it's gotta be clean water on that packers.
I understand the intent.
I understand what your intention
Yeah.
is.
That's fine, Danny, but TxDOT's not using the water. It's not TxDOT's water.
So can we charge for it?
Yes.
Let's charge the market rate for the water. The contract, I mean, he's getting paid under that contract, TxDOT for his work, so that's part of his expense, so why shouldn't?
So you're saying we can charge for the water?
Yes, absolutely.
Your precinct could use the money, couldn't
Yeah.
And the other party's gonna be AJ Hamlin, TxDOT. TxDOT didn't ask for, he didn't ask for the water, did he?
you? We'll just contract with that contractor from your yard to do that, payable to Young County, and, you know, it sure will be a lot less expensive for them to haul that water
Well-
at your place than it would be.
And
Here in town.
in defense and in Parliament's deal, I tried to get the city to do it. So they could use the money at the
City
city.
of Loving, yeah,
Loving City.
they don't want to do
They
it.
don't want to do it.
Who's that on?
The city don't want to do
Well, they've got open water system right out there. A lot of people haul water out of it.
How about City of Loving?
It's $1 a barrel out there. Scott Hayes furnishes it. He probably 5 miles south.
The shreds on Gene Highway.
Yeah. And he sold a lot of water. I mean, he's an interested taxpayer. And obviously, be willing to sell there. So we're not restricted from selling it, but we probably need to get a market consideration for it, or some other kind of trade-off that's a valuable consideration to do it.
From the contractor.
It would be a contract and not an interlocal, in my opinion.
I would absolutely agree. And I was under the impression that there was some sort of rule or that governed,
That's
you know,
what I
from
thought.
not being able to sell water, but if you
it.
can,
That's what I understood.
I think that's great.
That's another revenue source for the county. I mean, it affects the taxpayer that way.
Just be mindful if there's somebody else that's interested.
And the property that way, out there, the precinct 4 barn, on that, it's county property, along with the water well and the creek, though that it may be assigned for precinct 4's use for the stockpiling supplies, shedding of equipment, housing things. That's just going to be a Young County outside, really, really limited. Other item or two, other than the contracting authority, is court general. The court can give authority to someone, but generally it's comes through the court here. Signatures applied to it. The water system that I saw out there was picked up about 1,000-gallon trailer. That's the only water vehicle that I saw.
That's what they use on their factories. And they got a bigger truck that they use to water their dirt and stuff with, parked down there at the corner. But that's the only one they want to clean water.
We contract just about any private organization that is necessary. Or we could have a vote from TxDOT about something, but I think TxDOT's left the contract. A highway building contractor, private person, and that's who's getting the water, and that's who's utilizing the water.
In other words, we need to be talking to the contractor.
Y'all can leave me out of it, that's fantastic.
Are they gonna come back to you and try to charge you more money, or is it just a done deal already?
They should have included provisions for getting water in their bid.
You're good. Good.
Agree.
I just want, I didn't want it to affect him too,
So he let us know.
I think that's fine. If y'all can sell them water, that's great.
But just realize we're gonna be competing with market forces too. Whoever's gonna sell water can sell water.
I can't believe the city of Lubbock didn't want to make some extra money.
You gotta know them.
Yeah, okay.
We're having trouble with our water out there.
Do what?
We're having trouble with
I
our
tried
water.
hitting them in so many different ways with that. It don't work. They cut me, that's what I was with.
Trying to catch you up.
2,000 gallons a day, they're like, and they wouldn't let this guy here get 1,000 gallons a day.
I think the next step then, Jim, is for you to get in touch with a contractor, or wait for the contractor to get in touch with you, and we bring it up again and discuss it when that happens.
I don't think that's the proper thing, in the proper vehicle to use rather than an interlocal. We're going to be reaching some kind of agreement with a value consideration of some sort. I've checked that source on Scott Hayes themselves has sold Lucas water, sold frac water, getting it out of the same, I'm sure out of the same.
Operating the same,
And he's charging 35 cents a barrel, 42-gallon barrel. I wouldn't think that it ought to be any less than that. I think it was sort of something a little short of a penny a gallon. I move then that we rescind our action last week, whatever I number that was, okay?
you all did it.
It's item 11.
11. I move that we rescind item 11 from our meeting on October 28th. And reconsider that at a future date. I have a contractual arrangement with A.J. Helm County Construction.
It's concrete, kid.
It's A.L. Helm County, out of Buffalo, Texas. Cold Creek is one of their subsidiaries. 45. All right.
And by the way, finally got that job over on 180 done, 283.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, it's a huge improvement. I know it was a task accomplished in lab during the weather and all. Okay. I have a second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Zach. We have a motion myself, second by Commissioner Sykes, to send item number 11. The agenda of October the 28th. Dealing with interlocal agreement with TxDOT, considering the supply of water. And that we revisit that at a future date with a proper contract and consideration agreed to. And I'll say no less than 35 cents a barrel. But whatever contract we made. All in favor? Any opposed? Got 5-0. Okay, item number 9, we brought this up last week, and I'm going to ask Marty to come back up here and talk a little bit about that again with Cheryl too, I guess.
Yes.
Whoever brought that up.
Okay. Now, I don't, you know, and I've looked at
Request
some,
for an allowance last time, or
And basically, that's all we were here, was requesting the allowance. I wasn't trying to,
well, there's considerable amount of talk going around the counties.
I see it on
with
my
regard
list,
to
so
that.
About that?
some of them are kind of just sitting still right now to see what happens. They think it'll
Yeah, I gave you
eventually
one.
go away.
I read it, but I didn't hear before.
This, I just posed the question, I really haven't, this is really the only answer I've got. Put it down on our so-called listserv that is
I can't get on that.
pretty pathetic,
Ours has,
under the circumstances. I don't know that it got us in Young County locked out. Although we can see things that people post on there, we can't respond to any of them on the email side. We can get over on the chat side, and it is not very user-friendly. And it's real cumbersome to do anything on that, but
It's our-
well, therein lies the problem that I will be back to the court with, probably quicker than I had originally planned, and it's with our email service. So, that's a whole nother issue within itself.
it's not just county judge, it's everybody in Young County.
Yeah, it's everybody in Young
None of the
County.
officials can utilize
I
it
can read it, but I can't respond.
efficiently.
Right.
Only whenever we post on that chat box, the only time we can even see what we chatted is if somebody responds to the post that we made, then we can see
I
it
can't even post on it.
on the chat box.
I'm trying.
What can you do?
Sometimes we can and sometimes we can't, and our service provider is a really nice person, but when we're his only chief, sometimes chief is not always the best, we're his only county, he has 2 or 3 cities, and when this all took place, he just offered, pretty good services for apparently what they needed at the time. But in this day and age, with everything going on, with all the, cybersecurity stuff and everything happening, Sarah, for instance, who handles everything else for us through TAC, what the problem is, he doesn't have up to their standards of protection in place. He has a minimal, just what he has to have to take care of the issues he handles. But in Sarah's eyes and other eyes in the state, it's not enough. He doesn't have the different fire, to their standards. So therefore, we can see the stuff that they send, but when we try to send back, we're basically, our P is more or less blacklisted. They're, you know what I'm saying? Because they're scared we're gonna let something in. And we have had some stuff come in on us through other emails. So it's gonna, eventually, I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to change email service providers up to the, get one up to the standards that the state recommends to handle the sensitive things that go on, and not everybody can just get in.
I'm not
So-
sure if that's, I think that's just the provider.
Uh-huh.
They're, they can fix the problem, just like that.
They can, but then they're open, they feel like they're opening themselves up to too many.
So this goes beyond our individual passwords.
Yes, this is our service provider we currently have. And he's not gonna invest in all of the stuff we need him to do to make it good to where the state lets us go on our business like we were in the past. So that, after much looking, and like I said, I'm gonna come back to y'all with a request, and it is more money we've looked out, honestly. I guess we pay for what we get.
At the price we're paying for the service, he can't provide all of the
It's
requirements that we have because of
Right,
technological advancements.
right. The security platform just isn't there. So, that's the issues we got.
It's really inexpensive, but like she said, it's probably not like more than like for.
Yes.
Anyway, the heart of the issue here is this cell phone thing, and you can see what Jason Brinkley, that's the Cook County judge, they have been discussing this, and I think there are some others, although I haven't had answers to them. This subject's been brought up several times. And what he's gonna recommend to the court is a app where still use a person's cell phone, but county business comes through this particular app here, such as Microsoft Teams or Slack, and pass a policy that says we have to use this service when communicating regarding business. This would also allow the county to maintain control of those records after employment, after the employee or the official left. The county would still have those records. I haven't developed a policy, this is Judge Brinkley speaking, I haven't developed a policy or fully developed this setup, but that is the direction I'm asking the court to start looking. It's cheaper than carrying two phones or expanding cell phone allowances.
So does that, I wonder if that app costs the employee anything to have, or is it free?
Well, he didn't put that in there, so he just said it's
It
less
doesn't
expensive.
use the employees' minutes of it. They
How
don't
does the
have.
app know when it's a county communication coming into your
I
phone?
haven't, he just showed me this
Yeah, I
morning.
just
So
and
got,
I
somebody
haven't had a chance to
Texts
talk.
me, calls me, or sends me email on my personal email about
Mhm.
county business.
Mhm.
How's that gonna know?
I'm probably not one techno enough to understand that's what he was talking.
I'm gonna
Call me on my
discuss this,
personal phone.
I'm gonna discuss this with Peter, see how much, what it does exactly, and if it, how's it gonna know, we're gonna look at it.
So if I text Jimmy and say, Jimmy, I need to borrow your backhoe, that's business. I was calling him.
That's county business.
Debit calls or not have to be archived,
Yeah,
like
you don't have to archive phone conversations.
texts and emails are.
And we try not
But
to.
you
If
don't
I
have
call
anything
you more
running
than, if I call you more than text you, if you have something, Sherry doesn't get a cell phone, stop on, call us, or call Sherry.
Are we talking about all of the people that have cell phone allowances, the juvenile?
Even if you don't have an allowance, I don't get an allowance, but mine is
You
still
get county
subject
business
to
on
this.
your phone.
I think they're elected officials different than the regular.
That's kind of what I thought, is you would be an elected official.
If I text one of my employees out on a motor grader, tell him to go do something else, is that county business?
Mhm.
For that employee too.
That's what I mean.
Exactly, so he
That
needs to
that
have,
was my point.
so he needs to have an app too.
Well, and my whole point, there's people, I don't know why, but doesn't have unlimited minutes on their personal, they share it within their family, the pool.
And I do, and it's never been a problem for me because I don't care, I'm unlimited anyway. But now I'm subject to have to archive my business.
Well, that's okay. Would all of that go into like Marcia's computer, everybody's messages? You know what I'm saying?
No,
it
archive
is.
at our servers.
I was gonna say,
Archive at our servers.
if
Yeah,
whoever's
something,
supplying our
if
email.
that's how we need to do it, we will partition our server off. It wouldn't go through my computer, it
Go
would
into
go
a specific-
directly, we'd have a specific
Yeah, but
archive.
Remember what the sheriff told us last week, all we gotta do is take a screenshot of a text and send it to our email and it gets archived.
So they could email
Is
you
that
on the
simple?
phone. And it would be your-
The emails will be archived anyway, because they're coming to us by email. A text message can be sent to our email and be archived.
So I would just open up an email that says Young County Precinct 2@yahoo.com, and then send all, screenshot every
Well,
message
you
that
have
you ever
a,
send.
you have a Young
I
County
think you just send the text
precinct.
message to yourself.
Right.
But I don't get mine on my cell phone.
Neither one of those cost anything, Microsoft Teams or Slack is free.
Oh, they are free.
And they don't take any.
And that might be, I noticed
Where are they
that
making their money?
on my list, a
Yeah,
lot of them
I
are just
agree.
like, they're still being checked out to see what is the best thing. And it looked to me like most people were concerned about law enforcement, but really it's all of us.
Yeah, it's everybody, it's all elected officials, all employees, anybody
Anybody
that's
that
communicating
gets
business
taxed
that's
or
between intergovernmental or
But I
extra.
can see.
If you get a text that says, thank you for grading my driveway. Well, I do that.
I can see law
That's what they're
enforcement
watching
being a
for.
different specimen,
It all
because if they're
falls-
saying Andy Smith has been sexually assaulted, well, that shouldn't be public information.
No,
with that.
You know what I'm saying?
But being archived doesn't mean it's being looked at by
No,
somebody.
Right.
but that's what I'm saying though, but if you're using this app, that's gonna be, you know,
It'll be visible to everybody.
and when it comes to that kind of sensitive information, it doesn't need to be out.
Right.
but we could
Boy,
send
there's
that
a lot
out
of-
to all the law
But
enforcement.
the only thing is if they would
I
just
know there are.
Lots of things considered.
screenshot it, email it, and put it in a file folder and put it away, that's all you need for yours.
Because I don't get my email on my
There's some
personal
great
phone.
people up there in Austin that pop this up.
Well, you know, unintended consequences, this thing just grows and grows and grows.
It's ridiculous, really.
I think we need to look at that and Peter needs to see about it.
Well,
It'd be a good question for.
Sit it down,
If I get rid of the second phone, look.
See what direction, let all this stuff settle down before we go push it.
And I agree,
Continue that.
I agree, especially since you found this stuff out. Because I wouldn't have a chance to sit down and talk.
I like to get some other ideas, I put that out late last week, Thursday, Friday. I think I got it on the list, or I'm not
You know what, it's gonna be.
Somebody else put it on mine, and I've been reading over what they're doing, and everybody's just like an animal, just like us, they don't know what to do. I don't think anybody has done anything officially, so.
You know, because the person just asked us about the allowance, and that's what we really, we wasn't looking at the starting line, you know.
So you looking at a separate telephone and
I don't know what he just said that he,
His text, his information's gonna be highly confidential, so it's, you know.
I don't think they would thought that out through enough when everything is.
I don't either, but
Like they
Our
do most-
legislature?
Like they do most of them. Because I think they need to go back.
Lobbyists, they just.
I think so.
Telephone.
I think
I think,
I think they need to go back to legislation to re-educate.
This could
A
be a
lot of things
good,
we need to rework it.
this could be a good question on Thursday, huh?
It will be.
but
What about tonight?
if we can archive the server, we can partition the server to take those archives and I have a separate server set up in the sheriff's department. They can also only partition their stuff to go to your private server out there. We have just in the sheriff's department. So,
You'd be the only one that has access to the
Peter.
server. Going to be sensitive
Our
information,
administrator.
protected by
with the DA.
HIPAA or some other.
Yeah.
Because we
I agree with
do,
that.
the stuff we protect right now, we protect juveniles on it, we protect, I mean, everybody has their own way.
Stuff, somebody
Give
sends
us
you
stuff.
something about somebody getting
Yes.
sick.
Because we back up
Yeah.
during the night, every computer, everything that doesn't go into net data is backed up to that server, but it's partitioned to only The DA has a piece of the pie, auditor's office has a piece of the pie, Kay has a piece of the pie, and none can get into each other's. And basically, they can't get into theirs unless we access for them so they could, like, you know, they need to. But it is extremely, it met all CJIS requirements. We're gonna put elections on it. We're adding Lauren a section. So it is extremely, it fits every CJIS.
Is this gonna be costly?
Yeah.
We have already purchased it. Over the last 3 years, we put this in place. In order for us to add Lauren, instead of spending $7,000 or $8,000 on a new server, we're gonna upgrade the RAM and add a little bit more to the hard drive. She's gonna be good to go. It's already, Peter's already talked to the
You've got
secretary.
technician costs, which are.
Answer your question, yeah, it's gonna be more.
That's what I said.
The answer to that is, because we're
Bottom line,
gonna have, but it's still gonna be cheaper than buying like whole new big stuff.
Yeah.
Be a third of the cost.
Well,
But anyway,
that's government way of doing things, it's gonna cost less than it was.
but this whole question is, can Steve get a phone allowance?
That's what
correct?
it's
That's what it's all about.
The DA gets one at this time.
Yeah.
That's well,
she
that's the
gets
question
the
that started this, wasn't
And
it?
he just, he's invested with me, he said he would like to request, you know, a phone stipend. And that's,
County attorney has one, district attorney has one.
So it's $60 a month.
Well, the county attorney
Sheriff's
doesn't
got
have.
two or three.
I don't know, but I knew she had.
County commissioners don't have one.
All the deputies.
No, county attorney doesn't.
But
And you have one.
I don't either, I'm good. I have limited.
If he wants it, he wants it, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, that's what our request was originally. He requested a
What's the number of this legislation?
amount
Bill
44.
944.
SB
Yes, Steve.
SB 944.
That's a Pat Fallon thing, isn't it?
Won't Pat Fallon be there tonight?
Yes, yes.
He will, he'll be there tonight?
He will.
You said SB.
He wanted a phone stipend. He didn't tell me what he was gonna do exactly.
But he's kinda like, I think everybody else is waiting to see
But,
what's the county doing.
yeah.
You know?
And then I guess he goes to Steve, she does phone stop, and he said, he comes to us, and we brought it to y'all. He said, she said, I wish we had done this at a different time, but there is enough money she found within.
Well, for what, yeah, cause he's,
For that.
if we started it, and started it and getting it,
That's SB 944 and SB 1640. Both of them deal with open meetings and public information.
SB what, 1640?
1640.
But I wasn't
SB?
meaning to start all of this,
What is this?
we were just asking.
SB 1645 and then 944.
Both of those by Watson of Austin, I believe.
Of Austin, of all places.
He'll just help them serve.
Wish that street girl would listen down this tide on her server.
Okay, take no action on
It's still,
Oh, wait.
it's still
Wait.
open about, he wants to know if he wants to.
He wants a phone.
He wants phone allowance.
Is that not a
Which is
budgeted
what-
item?
just keep paying.
He's got money in his
And
budget to do
Does
it.
he get to take it out of another account?
Uh,
She's just asking permission to take it out of an account that already exists?
Yeah, I think there's enough money left to do it in just budget and find some.
So if
Not
you
change
got
the
to
bottom-
say
not
it would be
change the bottom
50%,
line.
Pardon me?
it would be 50%,
Half and half?
split between us.
Him?
Yeah, so what we do is we pay it and we send it to them and they.
Okay, the
So
district pays half of it.
It's $720, right? $60 a month.
mhm.
Okay.
And then we'll,
Cost us $360.
mhm.
No, we only get 33%.
33%?
Yeah.
Figure that.
Big boy.
180, 580.
Some of it's 1/3, 2/3, some of it's 50.
One of it's 50 and I thought the district judge was, one of them, it's either 33 and I'd have to look or 50. We don't do the whole thing, but we pay it out and then they reimburse.
So you're gonna take it
No,
out?
I'm just trying to save the taxpayers money that costs us so much.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and use that.
I'll
Cell
second
phone
that.
allowance.
I'll say that.
beginning December?
Started in December.
Is it all right with you? It'll be there tomorrow anyway. With the
It'll
time
be
flying.
soon.
Good.
Next week's Thanksgiving, I think.
Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Wiley, second by Mr. Pruitt, to approve $720 cell phone allowance to the Ninth Judicial District Judge, Dean Briscoe. And we believe that's all within the budget. Second by, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you, sir.
Can we take a short break?
Yes. We break. Short break. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Nathan, Austin just keeps making things simpler all the time, doesn't it?
Sounds like it.
I took a shower.
Is it first time in a long time?
Hey, took a shower, y'all. She smells good today. Who took a shower? Okay, finally.
That doesn't need to go in the paper though.
I got one of those. Yeah. Same thing.
I didn't know everything was done in those meetings, but you were the first to ask me. So, you know what I'm saying?
Last Cheryl last week. Cheryl last call.
Right. Well, I think he asked her, and he asked me, and I'm like. You will enjoy it, I'm sure. You're gonna wait that long? You're gonna wait that long?
I have to do one call. I've already went and done a blood draw warrant this morning.
Did they
That
get
is why I was
one
thinking
for
of-
Newcastle yesterday?
I didn't think anybody was ever gonna catch into it.
Oh, I just think I'm looking to pick it up when I was going to church.
Yeah, somebody started following me and Brian. Bullet train.
Yeah, Saturday before Wizard
It
Town.
went on the wrong lane of traffic, all made it 251 before a trooper finally caught him.
Is that on 251?
I guess he dropped some cattle off the cell or something, I don't know.
Well, this was one I was talking about, he had a four-wheeler on the back,
That may have been, it may have been the trailer it was full. I just knew it was a trailer.
trailer and a four-wheeler, and they figured it was 100. Been out all night, I guess. That's two DPS in the county there, so I figured they could have been in together.
Well, like this morning, I did blood draw warrant at 9 o'clock. This kid was smashed too. That way he was up in there drawing blood, he just slumped over in the bed.
Where was he hunting? Was it 100 coming there, or was it local, or just 100?
I've seen him before. I don't think his was alcohol related.
hot in here?
It's a little, not bad, but, I don't know, last Monday, almost cold.
In here, I hate, I noticed this cold weather is kicking off. The colder you get, the more you're like, dang, it hurts.
I know.
And I get so cold so easy.
Oh, well, next month,
We're ready to advance all the other here.
Bigger.
You taking a nap now?
Thinking about it, is that okay?
Whatever makes you happy.
That would make me very happy.
Make me happy too.
And we're supposed to be up here Friday to put in the bar card, stain it, and have it ready.
Good.
And then on Monday. you guys are ready.
That's good.
And all day, all weekend, that's okay.
Now, how do they know my warranty is up? And they call for 940-456-7661. That's crap. I hate when they do that, don't you? My warranty is up, my vehicle. Now, how do they know? Have you ever asked them, what kind of vehicle do I have?
You gotta at least talk to them before, most of the time it's a machine.
Yeah.
I get one about my student loans too.
Friday too.
Yeah, your student loan. Yeah, I don't have any. I haven't had any of those. Oh my God, a long time. I thought about going to college too. I like one semester to finish my bachelor's degree. It's 12 hours.
You submitted your criminal justice stuff.
I already did.
Yeah.
That's why I like 12 hours.
You can do it online.
I know, I was thinking about doing it online like at MSU or something, and just doing it 12 hours. Just to get it. I mean, I don't need it. Be nice to have it. You got a bachelor's? In what?
Amen. Watch moms as a woman have streaming live.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it should be done.
So my bachelor's, I get that, let's talk about having a bachelor's degree. But get it now.
I know Stacy, they couldn't hear you. Stop it, Stacy.
Well, they know me and Kay are cold now. We get cold easy. Because we're so young.
Yeah, you are, I'm not.
I'm 51 on Thursday. I'm not far behind. I'm catching up.
Judge.
About the key.
About the key.
Oh,
Well, I was gonna tell it kids. They've got it on the website.
Really?
yeah.
Just
It's the night I watched those. We're supposed to
all their checks.
Okay, there's a Chevy key with a key fob sitting on Cheryl's desk. It's kind of dirty. Why are you gonna miss it?
Got it.
There's single key.
It's kind of dirty.
That's what Cheryl said.
Thursday?
Yeah.
extension office. Yeah, extending to anything. I got one. I got that, 1640.
Is that what you said? I start saying yours looks good.
I can pause that one. No, it's the right kind.
Is this 20 years? Is this 30 years? And this is? Or is this gonna be like?
Jeff, you have one to bring? Mr. Pocket. Got a hole in its bottom?
Well, Amazon.
Judge, you know what to burn?
Some things.
No.
19.
I've been to that several times, it's good, it's a good little conference.
I love it.
One day, yeah.
Yeah, learn more from those guys in intermissions than you do from the speakers.
Yeah,
Try another one.
it's one of the best conferences I go to. I love it. Haven't missed one yet.
Okay, we'll come back to order,
Be there right now.
setting in a call meeting, November the 4th, 2019, it is 10:35. Next item on the agenda is discuss, consider using money from the tech fund account to supplement chief clerk's salary to $2,500 in one time, $2,500 annually. Jason Hearn, Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, came in office last week and requested, we talked about this, I think, a little, maybe.
Can I ask a question real quick though? Since we're discussing
Yeah, I mean-
employee and this, should this go into?
No, this, no,
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
not on this kind of thing here. We talked about pay, money, and pay.
Okay.
Something. I have,
You still have your
yeah.
Yeah, it's in our package.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You have one?
They're all exchanges there, I'll still got that package, so. The issue is, we had a request at budget time for a 5% increase in salary. The court considered all of those things, and we negotiated among an open meeting and chose to give every employee, full-time employee, elected official, $1,200 annual increase. Subsequently, this came in with a request, and it shows that in code and statutes that pertain to this tech fund. We've had this tech fund for a long time, although we may have used it in times past, maybe for some part-time help. We've never used it to supplement any employee. It looks to me like it could be applicable, it could be a purpose, justifiable purpose for using the fund. However, it kind of be up for discussion on that. But I reached out to some of my judge friends, and they, you can see this, I'll give you this little excerpt of what, I've got 3 answers to that, Paul don't recommend that, and I obviously don't recommend that either.
What's the balance of this fund we're talking about?
Last month it was, I think it was last month, it was 43,550.76.
Was 41,489, and then we just paid $500 out of that.
That's what it is currently.
So it's
Stand
41.
Stands TV over there and stuff.
Right, so it's 4100.
Sorry?
41,000.
But annually, their office brings in about $2,000. $2,191 last year.
What's her current salary pay?
What is the firm?
Budget.
39.
Let's discuss a little bit before we get into numbers and all those kind of things, and let's get fun. What the court will do if they approve something like that is, will essentially be putting one employee above other employees, or regarding them as more important or more higher level pay or something like that than the other employees. The other thing that it's going to prompt is doing the same thing over in another justice precinct. That'll be immediate. You know, it's the precedent that we'll set there, and then that's no guarantee on income or revenue in that fund. And what it will eventually wind up being is a county, if they pick up that, when it leaves, when it does leave, pick up that as pay. And then all other aspects will be picking and choosing.
When is, I didn't mean to, how's it gonna go away?
Well,
If we collect off each citation, we collect it, how does it go away?
can you tell me how much it's going to be?
I know, I don't know how many traffic stops we're gonna make it.
No, absolutely, it's unpredictable.
But I know they're not gonna completely quit making traffic stops. I hope they don't.
The court will be, absolutely be regarding, and will be looked at as regarding one employee favor, if you will.
The county attorney's office and the district attorney's office don't do
But
that.
they're different.
Their salaries.
Theirs is just not governed through y'all, they have their own say so, they don't.
But I'm still saying that their pay is increased like that.
Right,
But you cannot consider theirs as part of their salary.
The county attorney has to,
That's
let
what
me
they're saying.
tell you about that fund too, it's not nearly as much as it was, and it's lost its presence as a supplemental benefit salary, in great deal, in great regard.
It would be, I figured it up, it would be $87 for 24 payrolls if you gave the whole 2,500, because you gotta buy the taxes and and all that, retirement. So 24 payrolls, it would end up being $87. But, just my opinion, I wouldn't think we could overspend what they bring in.
Well, that's true. And I'll go back to that same statement, what the court's gonna be doing is picking favored employees.
I'm not picking if I
I didn't say you, I said the court. Obviously, that you're gonna think that your employees is good or better than anybody else's in here.
What I was gonna say is, you don't consider the DA picking favorite employees or the county attorney picking the favorite employee.
I do too. But we don't have any control over those two funds. None, zero.
I understand it. That's
We
what
just
I
have
said.
control over this fund.
I understand it, that's what I'm hearing.
Cheryl pointed out it's only for a.
It's a 4-month deal, it started 9/1.
No, it's not a 4-month deal. After the first year, if you turn the page, they went ahead and started it now, then after the first, it goes full time.
I haven't seen a lot on it, I kind of put feelers out to other counties and I haven't got, well, 'cause I can't
Well,
list
it's just now, the statute just now got set where it can be used for this stuff. So, as far as I know, in the past, it hadn't been able to be, but it is now.
And I wouldn't think they could use the previous money collected to supplement something starting in January.
But that's the thing about this, it's not a budgeted money, it doesn't come out of the budget, it's not costing the taxpayers.
It will eventually. Well, it'll eventually come out of the budget or be eliminated.
That's why I'm asking, how? I don't understand it, I'm asking you to explain so I'll understand.
Well, every year, it'll come out of that budget. And it won't only just come out for precinct 1, it'll come out for precinct 3 too, because I guarantee you, when if this employee gets that, then that employee's gonna get that. And then the fund is unpredictable. You don't know how much you're gonna get in.
So what good is it to have this fund if it's not allowed to be used?
Well, it's always been used for technological advancements. There's several different qualified applications. That's it. This may be one of them, but we've never used it for that.
Well, as far as I know, it wasn't offered before, was it? Not like it is now?
What do you mean? Yeah, we've had JP ask for additional benefits for their employees, just like we have all other elected officials, but
JP3's their monthly internet comes
Back
out
there.
there.
Do buy new computers and things like that?
I do all of their,
If, you know, if you.
Let's say we got our television.
Oh, they come out of there?
Mhm.
I take all of them.
those are the things,
Printers.
goods, supplies, and technological advancements, what we've been using them for, what we've historically used them for. I don't believe we've ever supplemented anybody's salary. We may have
We'll
hired
just start it,
part-time help from time to time through it. I can't remember that.
Not that I remember in the past, but, I mean, if it just started September 1st.
All I can do is ask.
I know.
I'm doing it for a good reason. I've got a full-time employee, I've got a part-time employee. There is a lot of stuff goes through that office, a lot of money, a lot more than what shows goes into this right here. When I took office, I quit taking cash, unless you have exact cash. Everything goes to her, if not. We don't do any of the planning. I have one person that handles the money. So there's no extra friend. I don't want to get into what happened years ago when somebody's.
I understand that, and that's the proper way to manage that, absolutely.
But if I lose my full-time employee, I gotta move part-time up or try to find another one to come in there that doesn't know the job.
Well, what are you suggesting?
That's what I'm
I
trying to
know,
know.
what are you suggesting there, Jason?
What do you mean, what am I suggesting?
You said, if I lose my full-time employee.
I don't want to lose my full-time employee.
Well, I know, well,
But
that's
she feels that
suggestion.
she's entitled to the same money that the other clerks are, the higher ups. She's a, I don't have a budget with me, but I don't know what they're making.
So you said he's bringing in 2,000 a month? I mean, a
No,
year?
It
So
varies.
if he offered 2,000, then that just break even?
They wouldn't have any extra computers.
But
We don't have to give them that.
that money is a whole. It's not split down the middle, half here, half there. It's a whole between the two.
But that's,
So if you bring in 80%, he brings in 20%, it's still y'all's together?
Well, it's just like this month, we brought in $20,000. He brought in 15. The next month, he may bring in 20, we bring in 15. You don't ever know.
Yeah.
That fund has stayed fairly consistent, if I recall, over a number of years, somewhere around the balance that it is now. We've been spending about all of it, being brought into it already. I reached out to some of my colleagues here. This is Stephanie Moreno, the B County judge, said I use 100% of the technology fund to pay for court management systems. The auditor and I figured the pro rata share for each office cost more than the revenue received. So they had to play the fund in their instance down here.
What is their revenue?
I don't have any idea, she didn't say. The fund is wholly under the Commissioner's Court and be used accordance with the stated purpose. I would not allow a salary increase to be funded from a special fund with an unpredictable revenue source. Here is what Brett Ray, Blanco County Judge, says, that I tried a couple of special funds to supplement salaries. It worked fine as far as utilizing funds. I found it cumbersome, though, for budget purposes because salaries were spread out. It made reading a periodic budget analysis for the department more difficult than it had to be. I also felt that any scrutiny by a concerned citizen would be confusing because at first blush it would look like we are paying people in that office a lot less than in other departments. So while the statutes seem to allow it, and it is a tool that can be used, my experience was using special funds for salary supplements wasn't all that good. We went back to using the funds for more traditional things like purchases of goods and services. And Jason Brinkley, Cook County, he said, we had a position in the past that was supplemented by special revenue fund. Then the revenue decreased to the point where it wouldn't fund the supplement. The office wanted general fund to pick it up. We declined. That, of course, created a bit of an issue with that department. This particular issue for the tech funds has not happened here yet, but I would suspect I would be opposed to it.
They're talking about the special fund, this is the take fund, correct?
That's a special fund.
Two separate.
That is a special fund.
In previous there, were they talking about citizens looking at the budget and seeing that they were being paid less? That's because that supplement was making up the difference?
Interpretation.
So they were actually reducing the salary in the budget and supplementing out of this fund.
That's right.
We, on our supplements, we put them in the budget.
Same amount of money.
We just paid out of
Because
payroll.
we have a payroll, and it has to come out of budget, but we
So it
put
gets
it
put
back
into the
in.
general fund, is that what happens to it? And then it goes into
We-
whoever's salary or
we
everybody?
Pay the salary, and then we put it back in
Not just, okay.
from the revenue line.
But on,
It's
say JP's line,
No,
her
it-
salary would be reduced by $2,500, it shows in the budget, but then it'd be
No.
supplemented.
No, it would not be reduced.
Well, what was they talking about? It's the uninformed taxpayer looking at the budget, and it shows that they're getting paid less than everybody else.
I don't know what their budget looks like.
Okay.
I don't know how it's put together. So
254 ways of doing things, like that.
Yeah.
But my question
Everybody does
is,
both.
that'd be like looking at the district attorney, county attorney, saying, why are they doing this and nobody else is The doing
Well,
it?
theirs is a state supplement, that is for their salary, it's called the salary supplement.
You got the floor.
Yeah,
The main deal in this thing is, it doesn't make any difference whether, what works for some other county is what it works for our county. The way it makes a difference.
254.
You know, we can get ideas from other counties, but whatever works for our county is what makes the difference.
Did you actually ask for 5% and she got basically 3% or over?
I think it was a little more than 3.
Yeah,
Her
it was a little
salary
more.
is 3.4.
When I figured it.
Why is 2,500?
that's what the maximum is in that.
Well,
Oh, that's a maximum?
I don't think we should do anything. I think the pay increase ought to be appreciated. It is satisfied with for the current fiscal year and hope next time we can do that again. But I understand that, you know,
I'm just asking because, I mean, this is designed, I mean, it's partially designed for this. I mean, it reads right here. Again, it
That
reads
is-
down there that.
That seems to be an eligible expenditure. I'm not arguing with that, not one bit, but I do know what's gonna happen whenever, it does happen, if that in fact does. So, it's gonna open up worm can, gonna make a lot of employees unhappy. It's gonna, there will be an additional one that'll come up just exactly like that, immediately, nearly. So, and it will be the court favoring one employee over another. It's not our job to do that. We set the salary.
One employee over the other.
Yes, we will.
I don't know what Stacy's saying though. I mean, if we give 3%, he's saying give 2%, make it 5%.
Well, she got like the 3.5%, about $467 less than 5%.
How many dollars?
467.
If we want to go back and completely adjust our pay schedule, and that's one thing, but that's going to have to be done at a different time. And that's basically what you're wanting to do, is change the pay schedule.
Well, I suggested that for years.
I mean, it's your decision now. All I can say is what is broke right here, and what it says it's used for, the rest of it, I mean, there's a beads on there, like I was trying to say a while ago, it's y'all's discretion.
I agree that it seems to be an eligible expenditure. I'm telling you, the Young County hasn't used it for that ever in its history, as far as I know.
It has been offered, it has been offered. It hasn't been ever really. What if we decided to try it 1 year for a trial run, just to see what it would look like and how it would maintain?
No, you put it up there and you won't get rid of it ever.
You can put benefits, you can put a stipulation that you try it for 1 year, to see what it does, and see how it holds up.
Could it be a bonus for her certification and completion?
It's just a one-time deal. I don't know why that would. Could be.
I wouldn't be in favor of it at that level, but.
I think it's like an error.
Well, you do, because everybody's gonna come up calling about my certification. You know, Lauren just told us about her college course she just completed. We didn't give her anything.
Well, if you do certification,
We sent her new works, all the other places.
county treasurers,
Yeah.
treasurer's assistants, and auditor's assistants. We're certified for a lot of different things, and it's on our own behalf. We don't require the certification. Some instances, maybe the state does require certification, but certification has been presented, I guess you could say now, Joanne, as they're on her own merit. So is the ones that Lauren received. We didn't require that. Nobody
I
required
understand,
that.
I understand.
We just went and got it on our own path. If we required things like that, I would think that we should give certification pay, but as long as we don't require it, I don't think they might be applicable.
They are required. We're required to have 16 hours. See, law enforcement's required to have 20, so.
40.
40, yeah.
Or
They're probably required.
they're talking about hours, I'm talking about certificates, like special certificates. That's what certificate pay is, it's not continuing education.
Yeah, it is continuing education once you get your certificate. So it all is kind of, I
You
mean,
couldn't be
Jimmy kept doing his stuff, continuing education where he's at
Couldn't
now.
be supplemented for getting his hours. It's required.
That's not the way I
You
look
get
at it.
spanked for not getting your hours though.
What is it? Above and beyond that, it's
You're
required.
removed from office. But to get your continuing education, that's how you get a certificate. That's
You
not
don't
that.
do it, you got to.
You can make the requirements without going that extra mile.
No, you can't.
You're not gonna get
It
fired.
just happens, you just keep getting it. And the more you get, like in law enforcement, after you get so many hours, they move you to an intermediate. After you get so many hours, they move you to a master. That's continuing education.
So we got a policy back to
There's the deal, code of policy.
well, putting this, mistake in mind. That's what I think.
How much is it? $400? $483?
If she'd gotten 5%, it would have been 1667, and then there was a 1,200 across the board. So
467.
460. You were asking about the three, and it was like 3.59.
It's not a threat, she's not quitting.
You know, if that statement a while ago, Jackson, were you suggesting that your employee might leave, if this doesn't
I
happen?
don't think she will. I really don't, but I don't want to take a chance. I feel like I need her down there. I'm doing this in this office. I like the way the office is running. It's running very smooth. People are coming in, taking care of stuff, and doing what they're supposed to do. We've had more stuff come in since I've been in office that's never been in that office file. For some
Maybe you
reason.
get more.
Okay.
We have
More next year.
all the PD quit filing any of their family stuff, they're just, they file it all with us.
Has your employee suggested that they might
Yeah,
leave?
everything's this stuff.
All of it do eventually, John. If Tammy told you she's gonna leave unless you tried to do something more for her, would you tell her to leave, or would you try to do more?
Well, I might make intersection at budget time for those things, but she sure has a mind of her own. If somebody's not satisfied and they don't think they're paid enough for what they're worth, and they're willing to leave for that, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't stand in that way.
I want to keep, she's very valuable to me, especially with me being new in office. She's very valuable. She knows her stuff. She takes care of business. She knows everything there is to know in that office. I will say this, when they up to $20,000, on what their value is and what they're gonna do in court, that's it to change the amount of change the law too. When you go from 10,000 to 20,000, that's gonna make a big difference. Well, the cheaper you go through him than it is to go through a lawyer. Well, it's like all the occupation licenses, you know as well as I do, they file that stuff under me because it's cheaper than doing it here. It's up to y'all, and I appreciate it. I mean, all I can ask is it's on here that we can do it.
Well, if we give her $500, then that'd be the 5% she was wanting. Then you're still under the 2,000 that you said that they made. No. There's the 5%.
I say we try it that 1 year to see how it works out. And that's stipulated to do 1 year. What stipulation? Come back. Well, that's very much try to work it from there.
Anybody else have any discussion with regard to the issue?
I just think salaries and budgeted items needs to take place during the budget time.
Sir?
I just think that salaries and budgeted items need to take place in the budget time.
No, that's the thing, but this thing here, it doesn't have to be.
It has to be
Well-
amended to the budget.
Whether or not that's an eligible expense or not, whether or not the money is there, the court will be favoring an employee if it does this.
The other two courts don't favor an employee, it's just y'all aren't able to govern what they do.
It's not our employee, it's yours, but we're gonna be favoring that employee. Okay, I'll call a question on item number 10, discuss, consider using money from the tech fund account to supplement chief clerk's salary, $2,500 annually, for that's chief clerk precinct 1. Is there any motion?
If you make the motion, how much were you gonna do? You said to do it a trial year.
The trial part of it. It brings in 2,000
A year.
a year. If you did 1,000, that would be less than what you brought in by half.
1,000 plus the benefits.
You got retirement back on.
You have retirement back.
January it starts 8.59%.
Really?
Retirement.
Retirement much.
Oh.
Would you include the 1,000? Would be, add up to the FICA and the retirement would include the 1,000 complete? That way?
17.
I'd make that motion where all your salary and benefits would add up to $1,000 out of that. Okay.
So it could be like 600 and then for whatever we go on. I'm just, it'd be something like that.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's what I would say.
So 1,000.
But I would say we just get it in a lump sum rather than trying to divide it out, because there's not a whole year's.
I think that would be best to give us
That'd be
a certification for y'all 1 year if you do that.
I wouldn't say for certification.
I just,
What would you say more?
saying, but it isn't the same. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can argue with me if you want, but I have
The
my
money
opinion,
is
your
not the
opinion.
same. The statute is not.
But anyway, I agree. I'll second that.
Okay, what was the motion?
They use $1,000 of the tech fund according to what statute says can be used with personnel. That money would add up to 1,000, that'd be the benefits and everything else.
JP Tech Fund, not exceeding $1,000.
I'd say $1,000 for 1 year.
So if you get that to it in a lump sum, how much would that be?
Depends on how many actions.
No, no. 6.2, 8.59, and 4.2.
It'd be about 112 now. It's a bit back in the.
I'm telling y'all, that's an absolute error in the judgment of the court.
About 800.
Okay. Wiley. Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I am definitely opposed. I'm opposed to this.
I'm going to abstain because as you all know, I've discussed merit raises in here. And I know the value that she is to Jason. But unless it's evenly applied all the way across the board, I cannot vote on it. Can't vote against it, but I can't vote for it. So I'm going to abstain.
Well, that motion fails. 2 for, 2 against.
Understand?
I guess, did you vote? 2 for, 2 against, and 1 present not voting. Item number 11, discuss, consider burn restrictions. I had one call from a fellow named Andy Bauer, is that right? They have some kind of a bonfire function out around Paget, commemorating, I think, the death of a couple of young men.
I think it's his father was.
Excuse me.
I thought he told me it was his father.
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, I guess, technically.
And wanting a waiver, which I told him I wasn't going to individually do that. I wasn't going to give it, probably don't recommend it,
When is it?
for sure.
This weekend.
I just said we let the burn down. You know, gonna get rain on Wednesday and Thursday.
Wow, well, we're going to get last week too.
He did say.
I'm just gonna make, I'll just come out and make the motion right now. I think we should let the burn down.
He did say that only fire department would go out there and stand by during. Yeah,
He said he made a $500 donation to the fire department.
yeah,
That's what he told me.
yeah,
Only.
on the fire department.
He talked to you also?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he did his due diligence. He's got a couple there.
2 cotton fields on both sides, and half of the south side is a cotton field, which is clean except for the mature cotton out there.
He talked to me for a good long while, when,
I understand where you're
I
coming
said,
from.
no, I'm not going to do that on my own
Yeah.
merit. He
We
finally got me to agree to,
Talk to us.
wavered 1 year of bonfire, didn't we?
yeah, we have done that 2 or 3 years ago for activity. There was a ground football team out here off
And Newcastle.
In Newcastle.
Cross Ranch
In
Road.
Newcastle.
Some kind of Thursday night bonding ceremony of some sort. think the court did do that. I didn't do that, but I think the court did that.
And we did Newcastle too, didn't we?
We probably have for the school
Yeah,
system,
we
the
did.
time or two already.
Yeah, we did for Newcastle.
Well, if we look at Birmingham, don't worry about it.
Well,
I saw somebody burning Saturday.
November's typically a pretty windy month. Sometimes it's windy with a lot of moisture, and sometimes it's strictly dry wind. We've got a lot of fuel out there in a lot of places.
There's two things to consider in that situation. If you put a stipulation in there on the wind, which.
You mean over X number of
Over
miles?
X miles an hour. And if he does it at night, which that's probably when they're gonna do it, that's when you dew falls. So that keep the embers down low.
I understood it's gonna be in the pit too. Oh,
Guys, this is like that last motion. Once you give one, you're gonna be inundated with requests to do others
When is it?
this weekend.
Saturday.
Do they have a name before that function?
And it's just like this last motion, I'm not against them having a bonfire. I'm against compromising our burn ban, either lift it or have a burn ban.
Technically, I'm not really in favor of burn bans, it's trying
You know,
to
you like to burn.
keep the government out of your
I understand that too.
business, but sometimes it's needed.
This court uses a pretty conservative spirit.
Yeah, we haven't had a long term much.
Just lift it then.
You know, when we take them off, fire
He's already got a motion on the floor.
department start talking, steering on, hollering. I've been attacked a couple of times before we put this one on.
That fire Saturday over at Loving, it wasn't burned there with it. They're a chunk of cigarette out.
Well, I informed Mr. Bowers that the biggest fires we've had in the last couple of months have been from controlled burns that got away.
There's been several here.
I know good intentions don't help when 12,000 acres burn.
Okay, your motion?
To lift, yes, sir. To lift the burn ban.
What do you think, Steve? It's in your area.
Just what he conveyed to me, it's gonna be in the pit with the water truck and a dozer out there where it skids steer. Cotton fields on both sides and half to the south side. You know, it's gonna be at night time. Predicting rain Wednesday, Thursday, and the wind Saturday, less than 10 miles an hour.
Is it,
Pretty good, if you think.
pasture or a flat field?
It's actually in a clear opening, it's actually in a gun, in a trash chute.
Had your gun range.
It's at the trash.
Yes, at the gun range.
Where it's clear out there.
But is there any grass?
He's already mowed down the road going into there, so now all that's already mowed. Bring wing and all that down.
Just lift it and give a variance.
Okay, motion on the floor, did we get a second? Is there anybody wants to second that motion?
I say.
What was the motion?
Right.
And Wednesday, it's like 6 to 8 mile an hour. It's like Saturday.
All in favor? Or is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Pretty much agree with Stacy.
Okay.
Come on, Judge, jump in there with,
I'm gonna go with you.
Did you lift
we can
it?
put it back on Monday for me.
You lifted the ban?
Lifted it.
That's the lift.
Well,
No,
I-
to lift,
I'm
yes.
not coming here Monday.
Tuesday.
Well, see, I figure Tuesday, right? Coming Monday.
Yeah, it'll be Tuesday, won't be Monday. So all them barbecue pits are gonna be burning on Monday.
That's right.
Okay. So it's not off yet, but you're instructing me to notify the burn man and lift it on. Okay.
Today.
Today.
Today?
I guess you could designate it. Burn bands looked at on Friday, ahead of that. You didn't put that in your motion.
No, it's,
Oh, the day of the action or copy paste.
Wednesday, about 40.
Say that. Shut your mouth.
2 inches of rain.
Okay, that motion passed. On the unified court. There you go, with me.
That's your fault.
You're responsible, buddy. You're responsible.
Stacy convinced me.
Okay, anybody want item number 12?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
If y'all would take the opportunity to go look how bright and pretty the
Did we get that machine out of there without tearing anything up?
Oh, really? Well done.
it's gone.
Has it never been hauled?
It's all gold. It's really, it's crazy how bright.
Did you know? You
They
tried
just-
hard to start.
You ought to see him run.
Little John?
You ought to see him run that thing. He can,
They have to be
he can,
certified on each piece of it.
he can spin that on the dime. He can.
He was talking about 7 days.
Tom,